I love it when Fulham fans are chanting, "He looks like a rat, he looks like a rat. Bruno Fernandes, he looks like a rat." Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fulham Fan Reacts to Game Week 2. Fulham won, Manchester United won. Another 1-1 draw. Now, quite opposite to what I said last week when Fulham were the worst team. They should have lost the game, and they were able to salvage a point in the 96th minute, Rodrigo Muniz from a corner. However, today, we were the better team. We outclassed Man U, and we deserve the 3 points. However, Fulham weren't the best team in the first 10-15 minutes. For some reason, this team, it takes them a while to start to wake up, to actually get in the game. And Fulham were very lucky to not go down a goal or two, with Matheus Cunha having amazing chances. He could have had a hat-trick in the first 20 minutes. Now, thank God for Leno, because he made some incredible saves to keep us in this game, and is probably the reason why this wasn't a blowout 3-4-0, because if Fulham were down 2-3-0 early, I just don't see how Fulham can come back. Now, after the first 20 minutes or so, Fulham got in the game. They were being attacking, they were putting on the pressure, putting crosses to Muniz, and Fulham had a lot of good opportunities from corner pieces. Bassi and Muniz had two really close opportunities. Man U were defending terribly on the corners, and we should have scored at least one goal in that first half. Now, let's get into the penalty call. For the second week in a row, Fulham give away a penalty. Now, today, there wasn't a penalty on the pitch, and this was one of the craziest penalty calls I've seen so far this season, at least, because originally Mason Mount is grabbing onto Bassi. And because he's grabbing onto Bassi, Bassi's like, no, get off me. I need to stand my ground and defend this corner. So what he does is when Mason Mount grabs onto him, he's like, no, get off of me, pushes him to the ground. And for some reason, VAR and the referee figure it's a penalty. So now let's get to the actual penalty. And there was some controversy with the penalty because apparently the referee got in the way of Bruno's routine on how to take a penalty and kind of got into his mind, a little mind game. Penalty happens and Bruno shoots it way over the net. This is also something I want to comment on that I noticed in the first half is the starting formation of Marco Silva. Very different to last week. Today, it was still a 4-2-3-1. Fulham played more like a 3 in the back with Bassi, Anderson, and Tete. And then having Ryan Sessegnon as a left wing back, Timothy Castagne as a right wing back. But then the second half, bringing on Harry Wilson, Anthony Robinson coming back, which is great news to see. Emil Smith-Rowe comes on, and a minute later, his first touch of the game scores the tying goal for Fulham. An amazing finish off an assist from Iwobi. So these are questions I already have with only 2 weeks into the season for Marco Silva. Formation is very inconsistent. I know that Marco Silva has been in the press all week saying that he still needs, this team needs at least 3 players. And I agree, it's so weird that Fulham have made 0 transfers at all this summer. And where are those 3 players? Kaput. I know it's a huge deal that we most likely will be keeping Muniz for this number 9 position, but there's so many other positions that we need to add depth. This is something that was a real struggle for Fulham last year. We were in contention, fighting for European competition. We were playing so well last year, but then fell off because we just don't have the same depth as all these other teams. This team just doesn't have the depth to continue to play at their optimal performance for a full 9-10 month season. After Emil Smith-Rowe tied a game, there wasn't really much going on. There was a lot of good opportunities to score that second goal for Fulham at the end of the game. Starting out the season, 2 points in 2 games. It's not worst case scenario, but it's also not best case scenario. I really have high hopes for this team because I know the potential and I know they can fight for European football. Now the question is, can Fulham be consistent enough throughout the 9-10 months to achieve that. For my man of the match performance for today's game, the obvious choice would be Emil Smith-Rowe. Came off the bench, scored that game-tying goal to save us a point. However, I'm going to give it to Leno. With his key saves, really kept us in the game, because if he didn't make those key saves, we would have been 2-3-0 down, and that would have been already game over in the first 20 minutes. Let me know what you think about this match in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Come on, Fulham.